Hello, this video is for IXL, Activity A1.K.4. It is titled Solve One-Step Inequalities, and we're going to be using addition and subtraction. The three-character code for this activity is Romeo, Zulu, Victor. All right, solving inequalities. It's a lot like solving equations. And so if you're used to doing one-step equations and using addition and subtraction are the inverse operations of addition and subtraction to solve equations, then you'll probably think this isn't too difficult because it's pretty much the same thing. So a lot of what I've taught in my solving linear equations, I'll be teaching here as well. So instead of using properties of equality, we're going to talk about using properties of inequality. What you do to one side, you do to the other. And with that said, think of it this way, is that if we have A is greater than B, and then we say that we're going to add C to each side, B plus C, then this would be true because we can add the same value to each side. That's the addition property of inequalities. Likewise, if we have A is, well, let's use a different symbol, maybe less than B. Well, if we have A minus C is less than B minus C, this would also be true because we have the subtraction property of inequality. We can go ahead and subtract the same value from each side and still have a true statement. And just like with solving equations where we're trying to get the variable isolated on one side of the equation by itself with a number value on the other side of the equal sign, same concept here. We're going to try to get it to where we have the variable on one side, and then on the other side we have a numerical value, and in between those we have one of the four inequality symbols. That is greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So I'm going to go ahead and erase all of this here, and let's start talking about this first problem that we have. So we start off with U plus 2 is less than 5. Now notice that the U has this positive 2 with it. Well, we want to get it to where the U is isolated by itself and preferably on the left, because whenever it comes to graphing inequalities, if it's on the left, we can use the inequality symbol, kind of looks like an arrow, to tell us which way our line should go on our graph. So if in the event that we ever have to graph a solution, it's good to have the variable on the left. It kind of lets you know which way to send the arrow on the graph. So the U is tied to the 2 through addition. The opposite operation is subtraction. And I'm going to subtract the very number I wish to get rid of, which is 2. And what I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other. If you watch my lessons about solving linear equations, it pretty much sounds the same way. Almost the same thing, right? So in this case, positive 2 and negative 2 are going to cancel each other out, leaving us with just U on the left side of the inequality. We're going to bring down our less than sign, and 5 minus 2 is 3. So U is less than 3 is the solution to this inequality here. So we've solved for U. Now in IXL, you're going to type in, using your keyboard, you're going to type in the letter of the variable, and then underneath of each of the answers, there will be, I believe, 5 boxes. Even though we talk about 4 inequality symbols, there are pretty much 5 of them that we need to be concerned with. There's less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, and then there's the equal sign with the line through it that means not equal. So you'll type in your letter of whatever the variable is that they're using for that particular problem. You're going to select your symbol. In this case, we want the less than symbol, so we press that. Get the less than symbol in there, and then we want to type in 3. U is less than 3. On the next one, we have here M plus 6 is greater than 10. M plus 6 is greater than 10. So the M is tied to the 6 through addition. The opposite operation is subtraction. I want to subtract the very number I wish to get rid of. In this case, it's a 6. And what I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other. The positive 6 and negative 6 cancel each other, leaving me with just M on the left. Bring down my greater than symbol, and 10 minus 6 is 4. So M is greater than 4 is my solution. Next one is W plus 3 is greater than or equal to negative 16. I want to get rid of this 3, right? So let's go ahead and subtract 3. And what I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other. So my 3's will cancel each other, leave me with W. And negative 16 minus 3 is the same as like negative 16 plus negative 3. We're actually adding a negative is what's happening. So we have negative 16 plus negative 3. It's a negative plus a negative, so it's going to get even more negative. And 16 and 3 together is 19. So W is greater than or equal to negative 19. On the next one, we have W plus 5. W plus 5 is less than or equal to 6. Let's get rid of this positive 5 with a negative 5. What we do to one side, we're going to do to the other. The 5's will cancel each other, leaving us with the W. Let's bring down that less than or equal to sign. And 6 minus 5 is 1. So our solution is W is less than or equal to 1. Here we have T plus 46 is greater than negative 14. So T plus 76 is less than negative 14. So let's go ahead and get rid of the positive negative 76. Let's get rid of the positive 76 with a negative 76. And what we're going to do to what we do to one side, we're going to do to the other. The 76 is going to cancel each other, leaving me with T on the left. And over here, I have negative 14, and I'm actually adding negative 76. So it's negative plus negative. Going to get even more negative. And 76 plus 14, well, 76, 86, 4 more is 90. So T is greater than negative 90. Like a 9 there. Here we have negative 304. You might be thinking, well, looky there. The variable is over on the right, and I want to have it over on the left. Actually, I think I'll just move it to the left after we solve for this. So I have a negative 637 that's associated with a W, or you could say that we're subtracting 637. So let's add 637. And what we do to one side, we're going to do to the other, 637. Let's bring down that greater than sign. Over on the right, these two are going to cancel each other, leave me with W. And now I have negative 304 plus a positive 636. Well, think about adding and subtracting negative integers. Now I could grab my calculator. But I know that if one's positive and one's negative, then we want to do some subtraction. So I'm going to take the 636, and then I'm going to subtract 304 and find out what the difference is. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down the 3, and we have 3 there. So I know that this is going to be 332. Now, which of these two numbers have the greatest absolute value? Well, the positive 636 has a greater absolute value than the negative 304. So since the positive 636 has the greatest absolute value and it's positive, my answer would be positive as well. Now, again, we could put this in as 332 is greater than W. But actually, especially if we were graphing these solutions, we will want the W over on the left and the 332 on the right. But if we're going to switch them, then we also need to switch the sign. A couple ways you could look at it is either if you're going to flip it, then flip the sign, or if it's pointing at the W, now it's pointing at the W still. So W is less than 332. On the next one, we have T minus 82. Feel like an astronaut. It's 82 seconds till takeoff. So T minus 82 is greater than or equal to 6. Well, let's go ahead and add 82 to get rid of the negative 82. What we do to one side, we're going to do to the other. The 82s will cancel, leaving me with T. Bring down that greater than or equal sign. And 6 plus 82 should be 88, right? So T is greater than or equal to 88. Our final two questions, and of course, decimals, right? So let's go ahead and deal with those. Z minus 2.9. That's about as difficult as this gets, is that they give you decimal numbers here. So we need to add 2.9 because we have a negative 2.9. What we do to one side, we're going to do to the other, 2.9. And those will cancel each other out, leaving me with Z is greater than. And then negative 6.47 And then we're going to add to it negative 2.9. Well, I know I actually need to subtract, so I could grab a calculator out. Usually I do, but I'll go ahead and what the heck. Remember, whenever we add and subtract decimals, we're going to line the decimals up. We're going to find out what the difference is here. 14 minus 9 is what? 5. I borrowed 1, so this is a 5. And that's 3, so it should be 357. 3.57. And negative 6.47 has a greater absolute value than positive 2.9. So if this is negative, that's going to be negative. Whichever one has the greater absolute value, use the same sign. So Z is greater than negative 3.57. Final one, K minus 6.67 is greater than 8.33. So let's go ahead and add 6.67 to each side. 6.67. We're adding those. Those will cancel each other out on the left, leaving me with just K on the left. Let's bring down that greater than sign. And then let's go ahead and add these up. 3 and 7 is 10. I'm going to carry the 1. That's 9. That's 10 again. And carry the 1. And that would be, what, 15? Right? 9, 15. Indeed it is. So I could drop that there, right? Just have K is greater than 15. Put that in. K is greater than 15. All right. So that concludes all of my examples for IXL A1.K.4 Solve one-step inequalities using addition and subtraction. Thank you. Good luck on your activities.